Welcome to Samantha and One, where the game is always on. Your go-to source for girls basketball. I'm Samantha Doherty, and today my and one is Micah Lancaster. Micah played basketball professionally and is the current CEO of I'm Possible Training, specialized in basketball skill development. He has trained many NBA players, including Victor Oladipo, Kyrie Irving, Brandon Ingram, and many more. Micah, thank you so much for agreeing to be on my show.
Thanks for having me.
For the last 2 days, I've been at your signature camp, and I've enjoyed everything from ball handling to reads off the dribble. I feel I've already learned a lot and plan to use it for years to come. Now, one thing that stood out to me is yesterday before we ended practice, you were telling us the difference between beginner skills and advanced skills. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of times the word beginner and advanced is thrown around as if something is just an introduction or it's something that's very hard. And what I try to get people to understand is that beginner and advanced is a very different concept. In fact, some things that someone would think would be beginner, like just dribbling the ball up the court, if given enough details, can become very advanced. So a lot of times when players think that they're good at something, they're really still just doing a beginner concept of that thing. So what we try to do is give enough detail to turn basically anything you do into an advanced concept. And so what that allows people to understand is that the reason why some seemingly simple things some pros are very good at is not just because they've mastered the so-called fundamentals, but because they've mastered the details within that. And so they're able to take that seemingly, introduction thing and be very, very good at it in an advanced way. And so that's what people need to understand is it's not that just the beginner versus advanced. It's that it's the amount of details that are inside of it. So the biggest thing for people to understand is that anytime there's a lack of detail, they're doing that at a beginner level. And anytime there's an abundance of detail, now they're doing it at an advanced level.
Now, this is a show for girls basketball, and you have a unique perspective on skill development. What would you say are 2 or 3 of the most underrated skills in basketball that you think girls should work on to become elite?
I think girls are severely underestimated, almost as if they're playing a completely different sport. So their coaches are treating them like this is not the same game of basketball that guys play. So I think the main skills that I think girls need to work on is, number one, what I call athletic skills. And so that would be such as jumping long distances, being in the air, being able to manipulate the ball for finishes. And a lot of times girls are simply underestimated with their athletic ability. So what I like them to understand is it's not about just being athletic, but it's about learning how to do athletic techniques. So they're techniques inside athletic things. And so if girls were able to just actually jump and actually work on their hang time, it's amazing what they can actually do with that. That's the main one that I would say that girls need, is just simply be able to be in the air and work on athletic things. The second one would be shooting the ball like guys would shoot the ball. What I mean by that is being able to find lift points, being able to have medium lift points to high lift points when needed, and actually allowing themselves to shoot that way. Because once again, girls are oftentimes trained as if they cannot shoot the basketball the exact same way. So being able to adjust their lift points allows them to shoot not only the 3, but also the mid-range at a high level.
Yeah, and you got fouled on that last layup, didn't you?
I did. It was a hard foul.
Yeah. Let's go to the free throw line to shoot your and one.
Got it.
Before you shoot your and one, I know you train athletes, but you also train trainers, and I've traveled all over the world to do that. So, what is your favorite place you have ever visited relating to basketball, and why?
Favorite place ever for basketball has to be Israel. That was the best place probably I've ever traveled to, period. But doing a basketball clinic there with Coach David Blatt was awesome. And so that was not only a great experience of being able to run a clinic with him, teaching other coaches, but also just being in Israel and just it's just such an amazing country. So that has to be my number one.
Now, kind of a side question, what was your favorite meal you had there?
You know what? I don't really remember the meals that much there. I remember the fruit was amazing. All I remember was a really crazy meal of eating a fish that had its head on it still.
Oh.
And it was good, but that's my dominant memory. So the food was not what I remember the most. But the fruit and all the vegetables, everything was so fresh. That was probably like the most outstanding part of Israel, was just how amazingly fresh all the food was.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Now, good luck on your and one.
Thank you.